Alright, the whirly gig is go.
Alright, hang on. That. Alright. Good. Alright.
Good.
Now to check the audio.
I'm letting it dump real quick. Alright, let me know when you have your thing turned off so I can... Alrighty. Everything appears to be go.
Alright.
Is Pepper Prince point and click, or do I need to have my controller ready?
It's point and click.
Alright. Alrighty then. Close that. Skype now is not the time for bullshit. Alright, I'm still here, right?
Yes.
Alrighty then. We can begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another installment of the Fragments Silicon Reviews. 4 reviews up this week. The first of which is the Pepper Prince. I guess more properly, this is a review of the first 2 episodes of Seasoning 1. And yes, it's Seasoning 1. This game is filled with puns. It's also filled with rhyming couplets. You have been forewarned. Because if those are things that dig under your skin, you will hate this. You will hate this a lot. I'm not even joking. Anyway, but that's just how the text is presented. If nothing else, we certainly get a lot of very curious games. Because the Pepper Prince here is an enigma, a paradox, if you will. Because it's a point-and-click adventure game that has been built entirely out of ASCII graphics. That's gonna take some explaining, isn't it? Okay, gather around, children. I'm not even joking about this because this is a very, very, very old school graphical technique. If you can call it a graphical technique. Because this is something that was born out of the Unix systems of the I don't know, fucking 60s, 70s, decades and decades ago. Though also could be applicable to early DOS games. Suppose a lot of early internet stuff as well, like MUDs come to mind, and a lot of let's say Usenet. Like I said, we're just dealing with a very ancient styling here in terms of computers and technology, because ASCII art was something that was built out of the fact that computer displays couldn't really show graphics at the time. At least, graphics as we would formerly know them. Instead, we got ASCII art. Trying to remember, ASCII is not a programming language. Like, you'll have to forgive me. ASCII was not really something I dealt with, but I do, the basic gist is it was used to express graphics, where you could not usually express graphics. That's what we got here. Like the house here, the shore, the everything is built out of ASCII symbols, which is the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. And I believe why this code was used is because it had a bunch of symbols that you didn't get elsewhere. Don't quote me on that, because once again, this is something that is very, very old. Like, even in the microcomputer age, this was old. So, point is that the developer of this game has decided to make a point-and-click adventure game out of, ASCII graphics, which would have been really, really impressive for, like, even the early 80s. I mean, first of all, really any time before mice were widespread. But, I think this is how Mystery House was built. That being said, since it's built out of ASCII characters, there are some limitations. Like, all the characters are expressed by letters. Like, the titular Pepper Prince himself is expressed with a P. And, or like the town doctor, who is named Dr. Pepper. Like I said, it just goes on and on like this. That being said, it's also using let's say an advanced form of ASCII graphics, because not only do you have graphical representations, you have animation. Like, if Petty can make it to the windmill, he can show off the grindstones rotating in the upper echelon. It's not everywhere, but yeah, this does have actual movement, which would have been... I'm not even sure that would have been a thing that could have been done back in the day. I said, not really familiar with the ASCII, art design. Probably something we can ask the developer, because we are slated to have them on the program in April. Now, with that in mind, as far as how the gameplay and the puzzles work, well, it's like a point-and-click adventure game, except since this is based off of ASCII characters, some frustrations with point-and-click adventure games are non-existent here. Namely, pixel hunting. You'll never have to look around necessarily for an item, because like everything that you can interact with is highlighted in purple. And it's more about, you're given a list of quests to complete, and, it's your traditional item, key, lock type of adventure game puzzle. You've got to find the thing that the person needs in order to do the thing. And that is how the gameplay goes. In episode 2, a additional layer is added, and this is the thing that really brings it to the next level. You get to combine items. And that does open up a whole bunch of stuff. It also makes things a bit more complicated. So episode 2 has a bit more of the adventure game syndrome, and that isn't like pixel hunting. And what I mean by adventure game syndrome, okay, that's when you reach a certain spot and you go, okay, now what do I do? Or what is the specific thing or person that I need to progress?
Mm-hmm.
And I hit that wall like at the last puzzle of episode 2, because it's like I know what I need to do there, but I don't know what item I need or where it is. I like exhausted all possibilities before I ran out of time here, and quite frankly, interest. Now, in terms of scale, by its own admission, this is a very small adventure game series. Each episode is estimated will take you about 60 minutes at most, provided you don't get stuck, of course. But, like 45 to 60 minutes per episode. And that's like your first time. I think there are some achievements for like speed running an episode for down to like 20 minutes or something like that. So they're not grand time occupiers either. And I guess of special note is the music. Definitely the most modern thing in terms of presentation, because it's got music, and it's not just like 80s PC speaker bloops and bleeps or something that's going after like the C64 sim card, or anything. It's pretty modern in that regard. Like, it's polyphonic and very otherworldly. Some of it reminds me of Earthbound music, if I'm being honest. It's good stuff. As far as the story, well, you are either Hansel or Gretel, baker extraordinaire, let's say, because at least in the plot of the first episode, which I think I can discuss here, you are tasked with baking the best cake possible for the wedding of the Pepper Prince, who is scheduled to get married to the King of the Sea. And, that's your grand task in the first episode. Though it wouldn't be a wedding without some shenanigans. Also, it wouldn't be a series that goes on to episodes 2 through 5. That didn't happen either. I mean, I guess they could be unrelated, but let's just say the story will continue in maybe not unexpected ways, but it definitely continues along the rotation of the Pepper Prince. Because episode 2, the King of the Sea and the Pepper Prince have a falling out, and it's your job for some reason to get them back together. Even though you're the local confectionery, not not Cupid. But it's your task because you're the protagonist. And as far as episodes 3 through 5, they are, as far as I know, not out yet. And it's been about 2+ years since the second episode came out. And I guess that will factor into pricing, because the Pepper Prince is on an episodic release schedule. Been a while since we've seen one of these. And in that mold, the Pepper Prince episode 1, Red Hot Chili Wedding, is free. So if you wish to try the game out for yourself, you can. And like I said, it's not a huge time sink either. And as mentioned, the second episode is available for $2.99, and it's got the seasoning pass, which is all the episodes.
Get it? It's a pun.
Yes. This is what happens when you come in late. Yes, this game is filled with puns.
Uh-huh.
You know, Mac needs better timing.
Yeah.
Anyway, the seasoning pass will give you all the episodes, including the ones that aren't out yet, and that clocks in at $8.99. And honestly, that's if you're going to invest in this, I'd say invest in the seasoning pass, because if each episode's priced at $3, that's going to be $12 total. And it's also, none of the future episodes have a price point or have a release date yet. So they may never come out. Once again, it's something to ask the developer when we have them on the program. As far as the game itself, it's a solid entry given its limitations. Like I said, it falls into some of the usual traps of point and click adventure games, and it's also on the small and simple side. So if you're looking for something, more akin to like LucasArts or Sierra style adventure games, that's not this. But like I said, you can make your own determinations, because the first episode is free. And I would give that, at least the free episode, a playthrough. Right, so any questions, comments, concerns?
Not that I can think of.
All right, so yeah, that'll about do it for the Pepper Prince. Be sure to tune in after the break, as Petty Fan will be reviewing Six Souls.
And we're clear.
Okay. So let's see. Topic of discussion. Well, let's see. It's on the table. Dark Souls. Because people will not shut the fuck up about Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, the Dark Souls of Dark Souls games is the Dark Souls games?
More or less. It's the Dark Souls of open world games. Literally. That being said, I'm not much of an authority of Dark Souls, since I've played like 4 hours of it.
Yeah. I think I just have Dark Souls 1.
Yeah. And
well, to be fair, if I probably would play it, I'd probably play like Neo or something like that on my PlayStation. Because I'm not the biggest fan of regular Dark Souls gameplay.
No, I'm... But the thing is, I'm going to be talking about Dark Souls anyway because of the Watcher Chronicles here, which is, hey, let's take Dark Souls but make it a 2D platformer. And so I think what we'll be talking about this week instead is a game called Powerslave.
That was a Dreamcast title from back in the day, wasn't it?
Saturn.
Oh, Saturn.
and also PlayStation, and also DOS.
Hmm.
Yeah. And also, it was an Iron Maiden album, which is kind of important because the Powerslave game was heavily inspired by the album. Like, the game cover art looks strikingly similar to the album cover. Obviously legally distinct.
Yeah, shaving off the serial numbers and whatnot.
Mm.
Mhm.
And here's the week. Yeah. And we'd be talking about Powerslave because, well, Nightside Studios recently released their less remake and more remix Powerslave Exhumed. Because it's not a remastering of the Saturn version like people were expecting. It's more like their release of Forsaken, because the Saturn, PlayStation, PC games were different games, some more different than others. Now,
Hmm.
I recommend watching the Kirk's Collect video I put in the Discord to learn about the history
Fair
and
enough.
differences. Now, and did not get a code for this for review, so it's more a historical covering, which is different than a review. And I think I didn't get a code offer because they're not the publisher of this.
Hmm.
Throwback is, and honestly, I haven't really got any contact with him since I think we covered Trick Style back in the day. I honestly think they didn't like what we had to say about their games. It wasn't my fault that that fucking Viking game was about the most mediocre thing I've ever played. Or no, it was the Gladiator game.
The one that was on the Windows Store.
Yeah, that's the one. I can't even remember its name. It was so fucking generic.
Yeah, I do remember it was garbage.
Yeah, like I said, and their re-release of Trick Style wasn't good either because, well, it's playing with a fucking hoverboard game with a keyboard. Yeah, that went about as well as expected.
Hmm.
So anyway, so yeah, that's what we'll be talking about this week. Powerslave.
Alrighty.
I missed the segue from not Dark Souls to Powerslave.
It's more. I'm going to be talking about Dark Souls enough
Fair enough.
in Watcher Chronicles, as
Yeah, I mean, to all things, or to all appearances, Elden Ring is really good. Just, and I will admit, I'm slightly curious about it, but I've never had any significant interest in FromSoft games.
That's kind of surprising given some of the series they put out. Not so
Okay, I'll
much.
rephrase that. Not FromSoft games. I'm sorry, because I just saw a thing on Twitter about this the other day. Soulsborne style games.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you'd be interested in Armored Core.
I've never played it, but I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I mean that was their big series before, PlayStation 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one could call that big. Yeah, I've played an Armored Core game. They're detailed.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah, and I might bounce off it, but I'm at least interested in the idea. Whereas the whole, I think it's mostly just the aesthetic turns me off, and the idea of having to time. I have a hard enough time timing actions that aren't slow and cumbersome.
Yeah, it's the pacing and the heft of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because like in Dark Souls 1 at least, you don't have so much of a dodge roll as a dodge flop.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, he just flops and rolls. It's
Does have
hilarious.
iframes though.
Yeah. I mean, and that is why Dark Souls is beloved. It's because it's got a very methodical pace,
Mm-hmm.
a very deliberate pace. I'm like, and it's why I enjoyed Watcher Chronicles more than an actual Souls game, because it doesn't do that. In fact, I think the game was being held back by some of those tropes, but I'll go into that in the review, including the one that got me to stop playing the game. Like,
Ooh, fun.
well, there were 3 of them that can go eat all the dicks.
Ooh.
Anyway, Six Souls is up next.
Yep. From Rotalakia.
Yep.
And yes, it's a known thing that Mac's ending spiel goes on too long most of the time.
I know. But it's like, not working on his schedule.